Good morning, everyone. I just want to start with this PowerPoint about color. So we're moving on to the very last element. You guys have discovered all of the elements. I kind of jumbled them up and paired up value with shape or with form, so that you could understand the idea of how value fits in creating forms. So here we have color. So I'm hoping that you guys have an ability to use color, whether it be markers or colored pencils or watercolors, something that will allow you to create in color. So let's see. Here we go. So color, a property of light seen on a spectrum, a hue. So we all know about the color wheel. We've seen them in classrooms, crayons. Something that I just learned is the color wheel was created by Sir Isaac Newton. You know who he is, right? He's a famous scientist that had an apple drop on his head. A round spectrum used to show the relationship between color families. So that's what a color wheel would be. So you have primary colors, and I'm really hoping that you guys remember this. Primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. A mistake that people frequently make is they think that green is primary, but that is not. So these are the basic colors which all colors can be produced. You can't make these colors from anything else. These colors kind of just exist as they are. So when you mix a primary with a primary, you get secondary colors. So those are orange, green, and violet. So green, you know, is blue and yellow. Violet is blue and red. And orange is yellow and red. So when you mix those colors together, you get a tertiary colors, or intermediate. And they're blue-violet, blue-green, yellow-orange, red violet. And they are usually named by their primary color that is listed first. So, and it can go on and on, right? You add black to a color, you get a shade. You add white to a color, you get a tint. And then also this can be divided into warm and cool. So the darker colors, the blues, the violets, the reds, the greens, they're all cool colors. And then the yellows and oranges and reds are all considered warm colors. So here's a painting that's primarily cool colors because it's primarily blue. This is a Picasso painting. Blues, greens, violets can be calming and nurturing, and can be cold and sad. So colors have like kind of bring about feelings. Here's one with warm colors, red, orange, and yellow. Can be exciting or warm. They can express anger. And this is a painting by Cezanne. And here's a painting that they're combined. And you can see how the cooler colors kind of recede and the warmer colors pop out. So there's lots of color schemes. The ones that I'd like you to know are complementary, which are the colors across from each other on a color wheel. So blue and orange are complementary. Red and green are complementary. So if you look at a color wheel, just directly across from them would be complementary colors. Analogous, these colors are side by side on the color wheel. So if you look at a color wheel, you can see that there would be darker shades of violet that goes over to a red. And monochromatic is shades and tints of one color. So this would be a violet, and we would be adding black to get over here, and we would be adding white to get over there. So let me just show you this.
lot of representational art attempts to portray the world realistically by mimicking three-dimensional space and attempting to faithfully render objects as we see them. However, many artists embrace a different reality. So-called color field painters of the 1950s and 60s wanted to reinforce the idea that the painted canvas is a flat, two-dimensional space. They made enormous, large-scale paintings that were often comprised of just one or two colors. Their art didn't represent the outside world or try to take you to another place. It reinforced the fact that you're looking at a painting. The bold, bright colors they used weren't meant to represent anything else. For them and the many artists they inspired, color is a beautiful and worthy subject all its own. Color is one of the 7 elements of art, along with line, shape, form, texture, value, and space. When light hits an object, some of it is absorbed and some of it is reflected, depending on the materials the object is made of. The light that is reflected off of the object is what we see as an object's color. Red, yellow, and blue are called primary colors because they cannot be made from the mixing of other colors. However, the 3 primary colors can be mixed together to produce nearly every other hue imaginable. Green, orange, and violet are the 3 secondary colors. They are created by mixing 2 of the primary colors together in equal amounts. When you mix a primary color with a secondary color, you get a tertiary color, such as red-orange, blue-green. Every individual color can be altered by changing its value through tinting, shading, and toning. Tint is simply any color with white added to it. So red becomes pink, blue becomes light blue, green becomes light green, and so on. A shade then is created by adding black to any color. Adding black and white to a color produces a tone. Sometimes a work of art will be made up of the tints, shades, and tones of only one color. This is what we call a monochromatic color scheme. One way artists personalize their work is by creating their own very unique colors, tints, shades, and tones. Notice how the violet colors in this print by Anish Kapoor differ from the ones used by painter Morris Louis. Is there one that has more tinting or shading than another? What do you think is creating the difference? One common way people categorize colors is by temperature. Reds, oranges, and yellows are referred to as warm because they can be easily associated with a warm, sunny day. Blues, violets, and greens, on the other hand, are called cool because they often come to mind when thinking about overcast or rainy days. When cool and warm colors are mixed together in a painting, what is the overall mood or feeling then? Besides the weather, there are many other associations and feelings that colors can summon. Is there a color or combination of colors that triggers a specific memory or thought in you? Understanding the effects colors have on you will help you read an artwork and develop your own interpretation of it. And when making your own artwork, knowing the effect colors have will help you control the messages you hope to convey.
Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is it's a little bit about what you are going to be creating. Start from the beginning. So here, let's see, get this whole image up. There we go. Okay. Let me get there. Right there. Okay. So what I'm going to want you to do, and I hope that you have sketch paper or just plain, maybe printer paper, because doing this on lined paper isn't really going to work. Today it's Thursday. I'm giving you till tomorrow night to do that, so your project will be due on Friday. If you're going to get really involved in this and it's going to take you a little bit longer, I'm not going to penalize you for it being late. So if you need to take a little bit longer, that's fine. I noticed in some of the drawings that I had you do in space, I was hoping that you guys would, made them a little bit more points. They were 15 points instead of 5, so your basic sketches that I thought would be pretty easy to do were 5 points. The space sketch was 15, so I wanted you to put a little bit more time into it. And this I also want you to put a little bit more time into it. So this is done with colored pencils. Two sides of it are warm colors, the other sides are cool colors. It's the same design, if you can see how they're the same design. So they made just shapes, and then they also added value into this. So they pressed really hard here and a little bit lighter here, and they did the same thing to all of the shapes. So there has a feeling of dimension to this particular piece and to the shapes that are within shapes. So let's show you the next one. So basically what I'm going to want you to do is divide your paper into 4. You can use shapes if you want in the same area, the same shapes in each section, and then I'm going to want you to decide on a color scheme. So this one being cool, this one being warm, and they repeated the warm over here and the cool over here. That's fine with me. 2 color schemes is fine. Here is another one that is done with paint. So these are different things that are happening here. Here is basically a monochromatic color scheme. This one would be considered probably warm, I would guess. This one's complementary. And this one was probably cool. Well, no, this would be cool, this would be warm. Oh, I get it. Sorry, my bad. Complementary, I mean monochromatic and monochromatic. And this would be cool, and this would be cool. Sorry. And then, let's see. Here's another very simple forms that are done, but different ways of treating the surfaces, I mean the shapes. Got a very monochromatic one here. Got a combination of warm and cool here. We've got warm and warm. If you wish, you can also do a circular form. They're called mandalas. I don't know if you've ever done those before, but you could create a circle and shapes within that circle, and then create a color scheme if you wish. So that's, oops. I'm going to do a demonstration on how to get started with this. If you guys hear that noise in the background, it's my dogs. They're crazy in the morning. Sorry. And anyway, I'm going to do a demonstration on this. So make sure you're hunting around for something to create with color, and also paper that is not lined. So second video will be a demo.